Welcome everyone to the Workforce Development Series presented by the Charlotte Regional Business Alliance and the Charlotte Executive Leadership Council. And we are delighted to have you with us today. My name is Gene Woods, and I am President and CEO of Atrium Health, the largest, most comprehensive health system in North Carolina. And I'm also Vice Chair of the Charlotte Executive Leadership Council and co-chair of its Workforce Development Working Team. Atrium Health, the CELC, and Charlotte Alliance believe deeply in the vital importance of growing a strong and diverse workforce to ensure the success of all of our businesses in the greater Charlotte region. Because we know that hiring and developing people with diverse backgrounds and perspectives can lead to better decision-making, to greater innovation, and higher engagement in the workplace. In fact, according to a recent McKinsey report, an analysis of 366 public companies found that those in the top quartile for ethnic and racial diversity were 35% more likely to have financial returns above their industry means. So it turns out that diversifying our workforce and leadership teams is not only the right thing to do, but it's also good for business as well. That is why here at Atrium, our Career Development Center focuses on developing new competencies and skill sets that will lead to higher paying jobs for our own teammates and those in our community, including through programs such as Rise to Success, Education That Works, the Mayor's Youth Employment Program, Health Career Pathways, and Road to Hire. More specifically, we are working in partnership with businesses, local government, and community leaders to establish strong economic mobility pipelines so that we can give everyone a real chance at a better life through specific job skills, training, and professional development opportunities, which can turn into rewarding careers that have generational impact. But we can't do this alone. That is why we need each of you here to play a pivotal role in this impactful work. And our goal is to form a broad-based coalition of people committed to ensuring equitable economic opportunities for all in our community. So as you participate in the series today, we hope that you get inspired and embrace this opportunity to enhance the innovation, creativity, and success of your own organizations through programs that prepare diverse talent to fill your workforce needs. Working together, I strongly believe that we will make the greater Charlotte region a model for economic mobility for the rest of the nation, which ultimately will build healthier communities and enhance the vitality of all those who reside in our amazing city. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning and welcome to our Workforce Development Series. Today and in the coming weeks, we look forward to bringing you virtual sessions to learn about non-traditional programs designed to develop our local talent for success. I'm Sharice Walker, and I'm Vice President of Talent and Inclusion Programs here at the Charlotte Regional Business Alliance. The Alliance, in partnership with the Charlotte Executive Leadership Council, has designed this platform to educate, engage, and empower hiring managers in the CELC about workforce development initiatives, with the overall goal of achieving 1,500 program graduates in 2021. So we've got some work to do. We want to thank you for participating in today's session, where we will highlight construction technologies and feature the ROC. And now, without further ado, I'm really excited to introduce you to our program today. I encourage you all to engage by putting questions in the chat, but please do know we will have some time after the presentation for some Q&A, and we'll invite you all to come off your microphones to participate and engage with your questions. It is now my pleasure to introduce Ann Hartlieb with the ROC. Ann Hartlieb is the program officer at the ROC, and the ROC is a nonprofit that creates pathways for high school students to become educated and employed in the construction technologies industry. Ann, thank you for joining us. We're really looking forward to your presentation and conversation today. I invite you to take it away.
Thank you, Sharice. Hi, everyone. My name is Ann Hartlieb, and I work with the ROC. The mission at the ROC is to provide construction skills and job readiness training, plus mentorships and work-based learning apprenticeships to minorities attending high schools in underserved communities here in Charlotte. We are based on really a three-tier model that ties directly into what the New World economy is demanding. And that New World economy is really demanding something very different from just a traditional four-year university degree. And we rely on an important mix of three key competencies that are all executed by three strategic partners in our city. And I'm going to open up with a video of one of our graduates. Her name is Jamaica, and she has just a really wonderful story to tell. So I hope this sets the tone for our conversation.
I'm Jamaica, and I've been in the ROC program for 2 years. I decided to join the ROC because, for one, I knew that I didn't want to go to a four-year university. Growing up, we didn't have a lot of money, and so I never wanted to pressure my mom with any more financial problems or anything. So no, I didn't really think college was realistic for me, just for the simple fact that it just seemed so out of our budget. But I knew that I wanted to do something that would allow me to work with my hands and at the same time give back to my community. It's important to give back to others because when others are in situations where they're not given the same opportunities as everyone else, they need help. But by giving back, by lending literally someone helping hands, I can help someone get to where they want to go, the same way that the ROC helped me get to where I want to go. Being a minority in both my race and gender, I think anyone would be scared to walk into work every day and see no one that looks like them. My biggest fear was that I wouldn't be able to do it, but I obviously learned that confidence here at the ROC. The first thing we did here at the ROC was we have this ROC mantra, and so every day we instill in ourselves the fact that we belong here, that we're capable, and that goes for all of us, both the male and the females, anyone that's Hispanic or African American, whatever it is, we all belong here. We all have the same ability to prosper. I think the ROC, the biggest thing that helped me to not feel like I am a minority is by educating me, allowing me to feel that even though I may look different, I can do this. My favorite thing about the ROC is the fact that this is directly connected to my future. I am a senior now, and when I graduate in May, I will have over half of my associate's degree done, and I won't even have to pay for the rest of it. I will get done in a year, no cost to me. So, they pay for transportation, food, internship, everything. There's so much opportunity here, and it really was a way for me to make a better future for myself and not be stuck in a cycle that some system has set up for me.
Jamaica is really a special student. We have a participant on here, Margaret Thornton, who's our associate director. She is really the mastermind in creating some of that environment for our students. And she'll be available for questions at the end as well. So we have a three-tier model, like I said. The first part is academics. We can't do this work. We can't train students in construction skills unless they have a solid background in academics from CMS. So CMS is our key strategic partner for the academic piece. Students spend 2 of their blocks, so half of their day over at their home school. And then they come to us for their remaining 2 blocks of the day. We really can't prepare students for this field unless they have their high school diploma. So they have to get it done in class at their home school so that they can come over to us and really work on the fun things. The second thing is our specific construction skill sets. That's the second tier that we really focus on 4 different specialties. We focus in on electrical technology, HVAC and mechanical systems technology, advanced carpentry, and construction management. And our key partner for these competencies and these skill sets is CPCC. While students are with us, they work on all different aspects, and they learn all different aspects of construction. They learn 3 and 4D modeling, green building design, construction client reporting systems. And this part lines up with the career in college Promise pathway with CPCC. So our students are dual enrollment students. They're receiving CMS credit, but also CPCC credit. So when Jamaica said that she has a year of her associate's degree already complete, those were credits that she earned through us. And the third tier, the third piece of our model that is really where the rubber meets the road, is our work-based learning with paid summer internships. This is really our most important competency that the new world economy is demanding. Our employers want skilled, educated workers with all of those soft skills, like the ability to work as a team, handle conflict, staying off their phones. There's really no way to teach this but to put a student on a job site for an extended period of time. For us, those are summer internships between their junior and senior year, along with after their senior year, so after graduation. The ROC, as part of a Career and College Promise pathway and dual enrollment program, is one of the very few under 18 apprenticeships in our state. So our students can be placed between the age of 16 to 18. And like I said, that's really our secret sauce, where the real life situations hit students head on, and the employers play a key part in mentoring students in what's expected. They get treated like an adult, they're expected to act like one. And a lot of our training of those soft skills is informed by our board of directors, which is comprised of construction industry representatives that really help us ensure that we are putting a superior product on sites and that we are providing a true upward mobility pathway to a lifelong and well-paying career. The ROC is that glue that brings employers into the lives of students, and past existing models, think shop class in high schools, have really relied on the high school or the community college to provide some of these simulated work-based learning opportunities. And what our focus is really having businesses and having industry lead us and guide us and allow students to work in that field. One last thing that I want to mention is that we are fully integrated into 4 underserved high schools here in Charlotte. We have West Meck, Harding University High School, Philip O'Berry, and Chambers High School. By integrating the Career and College Promise pathway directly into the schools where students come to us, they receive elective credit. Students don't feel that they're on an alternative pathway, but rather a superior path, and one that they can be proud of. Students can either walk over to our facility or they'll take a short shuttle provided by CMS to our ROC classes, but they can return to their home school and interact with friends, participate in activities like sports and band. But under existing models in traditional high school settings, this would be more of an alternative school. So we are really grateful that we are fully integrated and we have a great partnership with CMS and CPCC. As Jamaica said, she has 1 year of her CPCC credits under her belt, and she will continue on, or she is continuing on, getting her associate's degree at no cost. So that's sort of our model. And I want to close my portion before I open it up to one of our employer partners from Rogers with a video of one of our other graduates who's in the class above Jamaica. His name is Justice, and he worked with Messer in between his junior and senior year, and then after his senior year, and he is working full-time with them right now.
My name is Justice Taylor. I'm 18 years old. I came into the ROC at 16. For people in my area, life wasn't like everyone else's life. I wouldn't say poor people, but low income areas, not gonna find much opportunity. Before I came to the ROC, I was shy and antisocial. I was just going to school and just waiting to graduate to just work. No vision, no trade, no college, no little electives in school, no none. But luckily, I found opportunity. My mom had got a phone call home, and it was talking about the ROC program, like a career college promise, all paid for, $15 an hour minimum. My mom was like, "Oh, you want to get in that?" I was like, "Yeah." The ROC program really helped me socially, helped me with discipline. When I first came here, I was overweight. I was 260. Now, obviously, I'm not overweight no more, but 189. That wasn't really my goal, but I overcame most of my goals step by step. That's really how you got to take things, to just have discipline with things. Put on my big boy pants, you know? So overall, the ROC just really just gave me a vision for my future. When I started working with Messer, it started off as an internship, and then they liked how I was working. They said, "Oh, he's not like one of these ordinary cats. He actually knows what he's talking about. He's coming in with school behind him." That's really what helped.
He's excited to be at work. He wants to be here. He wants to learn. He's eager. He's asking questions. Those are all things that are good characteristics of somebody that's going to make it in the field.
I do learn a lot on the job every single day at Messer. A lot. Like, they're actually good people to work with.
It really excites me that Justice is getting the same opportunity that I've gotten. 15 years ago, I went to vocational school, similar program that what Justice is going through now, and now into full-time employment and an apprenticeship program where he's learning a trade.
I have my own job, making my own money, making good money. Like, it's not just McDonald's money, it's good money.
He's going to have a career path that he can go to the management side. He can stay in the craft and continue to use his trade. There's so many different opportunities within construction that you can go.
Justice, I mean, I'm still in just awe of what you've accomplished. It's really.
I am too. I don't even believe it. Feel like a dream. Since I've been with the ROC and since I've been working with Messer, now it's like I have my career path just set up for me now. So it's just, God can stop me. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that was a fire ending. Oh, that was a fire ending. That was fire.
Awesome. So Justice is really an amazing student, and he's had an amazing experience working and starting with his apprenticeship. Here at the ROC, we were 100% in person during COVID, and that allowed us to provide this important skills training during the school year, so that students could go out on their site in the summer. All right, so I am going to stop sharing for just a moment, and I'm going to introduce Phyllis Prim. She is with Rogers. She's been with Rogers for 23 years. She started as an HR manager in 1998 and has increased her responsibilities in the organization, and she's now the VP of HR. So I'd love to turn it over to Phyllis, and she has two folks from her team, Carly Morris and Chad Kartner, who are going to provide some context about internships and their pathways. Phyllis?
Thank you so much. It's just great to see these videos and listen to Gene Woods talk about professional development. And I think as a general contractor, we have an intern program, but we have the traditional 4-year following the student, and once they get their degree, hiring them. So I think for us, as Carly and Chad are going to talk about, is developing with our trade partners these students, and perhaps helping a trade partner start an intern program, both with maybe our help on there's so much that we can offer on those soft skills, on the construction management side, that's what we do, as well as let them learn a trade, or perhaps they start out as one trade and decide, by being on our job site, that they can switch trades. Maybe they start as electrical, had this great experience, and now want HVAC, and follow them as we do our other intern program, follow them. And ultimate goal always is to hire, because we're in such a critical need of needing these workers now.
Thank you, Phyllis. Now I'd like to introduce Chad. I'd love for you to kind of share about what your pathway into the field was, maybe what some of the parallels were between our program and some of those critical points for industry to tie in to mentor some of these interns. Chad?
All right. My name is Chad Cartner. I'm a project engineer out at West Charlotte High School. So my pathway into the field, so my dad was in construction. I went to CPCC first thing, not really knowing what I was going to do. I got an associate's degree there, transferred into Western Carolina University, where I entered into the construction management program. I found a love for it there. And then, as I was up there, you have to have an internship when you're in college. So I got with Rogers, did 2 internships. And I've also helped with the intern program after I've got out of school. So that's kind of my pathway. I did 4 years in virtual design. Then I've done 1 year in the field. So that's kind of my pathway to the field. And we try to encourage anyone that's, interested to get involved. So I feel like it's our professional responsibility to get anybody that's interested in this field involved and give them the equal chance for sure. So sharing my experience working with the interns at the ROC, we had Quan from the ROC. He goes to Philippa Berry High School. He was, I would say maybe the difference between high school and having a college intern is maybe high school was a little shyer. You know what I mean? I feel like I was a little shy in high school compared to when I was in college, where they throw you in front of classrooms and you got to give presentations and whatnot. So kind of different there. Quan was very interested in the trades in the field. So we actually got him involved with the guys actually building the building out there. So I got him involved with the MEP guys weekly. He kind of shadowed them, learned a lot out here. He was a great kid. And then from a college level, they actually both worked together a lot. Walker and Quan, they took a bunch of pictures, did a lot of QA/QC checks, stuff like that, stuff you do as an intern. So yeah, we really love the ROC program, and we try to get as much help from workforce development as possible.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chad. It's been absolutely amazing. The work-based learning that student had this summer completely transformed him. Margaret and I were totally shocked when he came back for orientation last week, and he held himself with so much more confidence. He had conversation, looked us in the eye, really developed those soft skills that were demanded of him when he was on the job site. So I thank you very much for mentoring him and supporting his growth. That's pretty, it's a wonderful thing, and it's very common with those work-based learning internships. So thank you. Now I'd like to hear a little bit from Carly. So Carly has a wonderful background that is more of the traditional work-based or work development space, I guess, in high school. She's a CMS grad, and I'd love for her to tell some of her story and how she got into the field, and we'll have some other questions for her. Carly?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. My name is Carly Morris. I'm a project manager for Rogers Builders. My background and specialty is in healthcare and education projects specifically. I am currently working on the new West Charlotte High School. I don't know if you can see my background. It's a rendering. It's not done yet. We've got it out a little less than a year to turn over the main building soon. As Ann mentioned, I graduated from Olympic High School, so I am a CMS grad. And during my senior year, we had a lot of great allies that created a program where we built a habitat house on a temporary foundation at the school. And there were definitely some corporate sponsors and people that helped make that happen. And at the end of my senior year, one of those companies offered me a full-time summer internship. at that point, I've been involved in construction. I kind of grew up in it, mainly on the residential side. So I didn't even realize there was another world of construction, the commercial side. And they gave me the opportunity to go and learn that summer. And then I came back the next summer and the next summer. And eventually I joined on full time just because I realized I had such a passion for commercial construction. And at that point, I had been exposed to the education side as well as the healthcare side. And I realized that as a career, I could give back to the community by influencing the education of our future leaders, or going to help build places that heal people in our community. And so while mine may not be directly related to the ROC, I feel like I had similar opportunities given to me in order to turn around and start building in our community. So, I think our responsibility as corporations in the community is to give people the opportunity and the chance and build assets, right? So because someone invested in me, I can then in turn go and invest in other students. And having Quan out here this summer was a joy. It is amazing to see how when he first showed up as this extremely shy individual, by the time he left, he would be joking around with us. And I think by immersing yourself in that environment, you have to come out of your comfort zone. So what I would just encourage is, even if they choose not to go into construction or whatever, they've at least learned soft skills that will make them successful in the future.
Thank you so much, Carly. And I'm really glad you pointed out that you made that connection between being able to help your community through this pathway. That's something that's a message that we do try to send at the ROC when we are recruiting students, that your positive impact in the community can be realized through this pathway. And we have partners that will guide you through this, that have a similar passion as you have, and that your impact is really only limited by your imagination in this field. So thank you very much, Carly. All right, so Sharice, I think we're ready for Q&A.
Wow. Thank you so much for all of that incredible information. We have had a little activity in the chat, and I really appreciate you providing these direct examples of how the ROC is impacting pathways to careers in construction and technology. I think we're all really just touched by the videos, of course, of Jamaica, and it's just so inspiring. So thank you for all that you're doing, and thank you for sharing. I know we've gotten some interaction in the chat. I know to Ashley's point, there are some of you out here that already work with the ROC. So really want to now just kind of open it up for any questions that you all might have as an audience. And I invite you to come off mute and ask your question so that we can get it directly responded to. Or if you're more comfortable putting something in the chat, that would be great.
I want to say something. Good morning, everyone. This is Margaret Thornton from the ROC. I also work at CPCC as their CTE coordinator. Hi, Don Hill down there. I see you. Carly, thank you so much, because you and I worked together to get Quan on base. And Chad, you're awesome, dude. So part of our job is to follow up with the employers and see how the students are doing during the summer. And Chad provided a lot of that good information, and so did Carly. One of the things I want to say, Chad, Quan came in thinking that he wanted to do carpentry. Now he's all ready to go and set in mechanical and plumbing. So we've got to switch his gears and put him in that direction. And I really appreciate the different sides that you guys were able to share with him on the work site. This is what gives them the opportunity to move in a direction which I love to call being honed in naturally. and that allows them to really flourish. So thank you both very much.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
And Anne, you're doing a wonderful job too.
There is a question from Sherry in the chat while we're waiting for any other questions. You mentioned your board of directors at the ROC, and what type of professionals are involved, and what is their role?
Yeah, so we have kind of a wide variety of folks on our board, and we are moving to have our board be mostly industry. Right now, we have some community partners that have helped us shape what our organization is. We only started in 2018. So we have a lot of construction folks on there. We have someone from CMS. We have someone from CMPD. One other aspect of our program is that we have now 2 parallel pathways. We started as a college pathway with CPCC, and during COVID, we learned that there was a whole large subgroup of folks who were really on a direct to work pathway. So directly after high school, going right to work. Justice would be a primary example of that, where he is just flourishing. And I'd love for Chris, once we're done speaking, to kind of share your experience with having our interns. So we have CMPD that is providing some students for our direct pathway. So we had summer programming with them, where we trained students who were kind of at risk, is what folks typically use that term, but I'd say at risk of success and at risk of really having a successful career. So we trained some of those students. We've had 45 students this summer. So you have a representative from CMPD, but we are always looking for industry folks to either contribute on our board and provide some insight, or we also have an industry board that Carly is on, where she helps provide some really integral information about how we can make this internship experience wonderful for both the employer, but also for the students. What skills do they need to have? This summer, we received feedback that students doing estimating need to have more Excel skills under their belt. So we get this feedback and we are able to adjust and change in response to our boards.
Thanks for that response, Anne.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, you've been kind of called out on your experiences. Thank you for what you shared in the chat. Would you mind sharing your experiences with the ROC?
Yeah, absolutely. We've had nothing but a great experience with the ROC. So you saw Justice in the video that was played earlier. We've actually had 3 folks come through the program and come to work for us. One of which was just a summer intern. They worked the summer with us and then headed off to their start of higher education. That experience worked great. I would highly recommend that for anybody that's looking to bring somebody in to learn their business before they head off to college. And then we've actually hired 2 full-time employees through the program, both of which went the direct work route and are now carpenters with us. They're actually enrolled in our internal apprenticeship program as well. So they're still continuing their education. They're both doing fantastic. I mean, these young folks are coming to us so prepared, not only with the physical skills needed to do the job, but the life skills, the attitude, ready to work, the work hardening that they've gone through with the ROC. They're just prepared to enter, the industry more so than, quite honestly, some of the experienced people that come to us and submit applications. The students that we're getting through the ROC, the process is just so much smoother. They're so eager to learn and learn our trade and learn our business. We'll take as many of them as we can get. And the great news is they're earning a great wage, full benefits, retirement, healthcare, vacation. The sky's the limit for these employees once they get to us. And I'm sure it's the same with Rogers and and all the other companies that are taking part in the program as well. So highly recommend the ROC, 2 thumbs up. I don't personally work directly with the ROC in the hiring. Josh Bolin, who was in the video, he's on vacation this week. So I'm kind of looking at some of the notes that he's left for me. So I hope I did him justice.
Thanks for sharing that, Chris. There is another question in the chat that I'd like to follow that with, but I do want to be respectful of anyone that has a question that might want to come off mute and ask.
And if I may, I just want to make another comment. And Chris, thank you so much. Messer has been amazing with us as well. One of the key things that helps us so much with student development is having the employers just come visit during the day. Sometimes they bring in lunch, they get to spend time in our small cafeteria with the students, and just the students' interaction with them, learning how to shake hands, learning how to hold a conversation with an adult is so huge for us. So I would encourage anybody that's on this call that really is interested in what we're doing, come visit. Come hang out with us, because the students want to be able to meet you guys. We want you in the building so that they can understand what is it like to interact with adults and with people that are professional. So come visit.
Yep, that's a great point. That's an excellent point. Want to follow that point up with a question that's in the chat. What type of hesitations do companies you work with initially have, and how do you overcome them?
That's a really great question that we get from a lot of new industry partners. So we have probably about 35 to 40 industry partners that have hired our students. Most of them are repeat folks. I see a lot of them on the call. And a lot of the hesitancy is that they have, they're hiring someone who's 16, and the Department of Labor has deemed this a potentially hazardous and dangerous field. So employers want to know kind of what some of those hoops are to jump through. And we are part of the Career and College Promise program. So students are able to receive CPCC credit. They have some extra insurance that has to be covered. But that's probably our biggest hesitation is, what do we do with someone who's under 18? And that we totally work through, as evidenced by all of our interns that have been placed. One of the other hesitations or questions that employers often have is, what do we do with a high schooler? We're used to having college interns. What in the world do we do with a high school intern? And it varies. We like for them to practice. So a third of their time practicing skills that they have already developed. A third of the time they are learning new skills. And then a third of the time either shadowing someone who is their supervisor, but just trying to have some variety where they can practice, learn, and then continue to learn the professional side. They do some cleaning on sites. I think in the construction industry, folks are like, well, can we just have them clean all the time? No, we need them to learn. It is expected that they clean part of the time because that is part of the job. But that we want them to continually learn and practice those skills. And any industry folks on the call, you're welcome to chime in if you have anything else to contribute.
Hey everybody, if I may jump in real fast, this is Mecklenburg County Commissioner Lee Altman. I just want to say that I've been to the ROC and had a tour with Darren Ash and met some of y'all, and I was absolutely blown away. I was just so impressed. I got to meet a bunch of the kids and talk to them, and it was incredibly impressive. And I really love trying to spread the good word in the community. I just think this is a model that we should be scaling up. It just has so much potential to put youth on a great track and to be sure that we're meeting the labor needs of our regional employers who need great skilled workers so that we can continue to lift all boats. So I just want to chime in to say amazing job, and thanks so much for letting me listen in this morning.
Commissioner Altman, thank you for joining us, and thank you for sharing those comments. That's very inspiring and very, very true. And I wanted to quickly ask, while we wait for hopefully some more questions and insight from the industry, what resources are you utilizing to attract students to the program? You talked a little bit about CMPD and certainly working through the CMS school system, but are there other resources that you are utilizing to tap into access to students that will participate in the programming?
Yes, so Margaret and I are both we try to be recruiting gurus. COVID has added an extra challenge to that. So we have done many Zoom recruitment sessions through the various schools, through our 4 schools. But we really try to bring as many students into our building to see the facility in order to garner more of that energy and excitement. We have the videos that we showed today are some of the videos that we share with other students so that students can relate to and have a name and a face to what construction really can be, that it doesn't have to be what we have in the back of our mind of, honestly, like an old white man. So we try to put as many of these more accurate images of what construction can be in front of our students. We did an Instagram spotlight of some of our interns this summer. And I think that as students start to see more people that look like them, they're relating more. And this is more of a viable pathway. But recruiting can be difficult, especially in this time. But we do have 2 full programs right now.
So it also sounds like you're dispelling the myths of what construction is now versus what it was maybe 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When I used to run around the community as a CTE coordinator for the college, we always used to talk about construction not being sexy. So we get the kids start talking about it. What does that mean? You know, and a lot of kids right now, they either want to go be nurses if they're interested in the health field, or they want to be engineers. And a lot of them don't really understand what that really means. So we have kind of used that as a place to say, you know, if you're interested in engineering, what is it about engineering you're interested in? Maybe you need to come learn about how things come together and be able to think through processes. And that comes with hands-on learning. And that's one of the biggest components I think that is missing a lot in the schools, is that they don't get the opportunity or have the time really to provide that hands-on learning. And my motto has always been, as Ann knows, is head, heart, and hands. If you put all that together, then you can reel folks in and get them doing what it is that they want to do. The other thing is that, you know, even though COVID did provide a lot of 6 p.m. meetings on Zoom with parent nights and things of that nature, and our CMS partners have been phenomenal about putting us in front of the parents and putting us in front of students, even during COVID. The other thing is that now the students are starting to tell their friends, which is way cool. That's really what we want to happen. You know, we got brothers and sisters actually in the program now that are coming in. So it's spreading the word and it's getting them excited, because otherwise, if they're not excited, forget it. It's just not going to happen.
And I'm so glad you mentioned that, because we've got an incredible question in the chat from Anna Lou Wilson on how do you market this program to the parents so that you can get everybody on board and supporting what the student is trying to accomplish.
Well, for CPCC, you know, once we put the word out that this could continually, you know, the program could continue for you free of charge, that's something that hooks the parents into attention. They may not think of their child as going into construction, but we try to appeal to the fact that, you know, maybe if you watch something that the kid gets interested in, and I know these days a lot of it's spent on video games and, you know, on different TV programs or whatever the case may be. But if they're interested in doing things, tinkering around the house, taking stuff apart, whatever, maybe push them in this direction and see what comes of it. A lot of the kids come in with an expectation of the fact that they're going to go do shop and that it's no big deal. But they very quickly learn, especially on the West Side campus, that you're in college and there's some expectations here. So, and we work very highly with our workforce learning department. They're online here. I saw them somewhere. And they're a part of that process too. So the college is always supporting from a college standpoint of higher learning, post-secondary learning, and getting the parents to understand that is key, because they think that when you go into a construction program, it's just something that's not going to lead anywhere for them. And then you have to start talking about the salaries, because construction workers make a lot of money. They make a lot of money.
Thank you for addressing that. Anything anybody else would share, Ann or others would share on how we continue to market this program to the parents?
I'd say that just like what I was speaking with Carly, is that this is really an opportunity for students to have a positive impact in their community. That yes, they can make a really good money in this field, in the skilled trades. We're not training students to be day laborers, which is what a lot of people think of. We're looking for students, and our goal is for students to really move up and for this to be a viable upward mobility pathway, but also an opportunity for students to impact their community in a positive way. You don't just have to be a teacher, a nurse, a doctor to positively impact your community. This is a very viable way to do that.
And can we build on something that was mentioned a little bit earlier? Getting employers inside of the ROC is so important, obviously. How can an organization or a company partner with you to kind of start making that happen?
Absolutely. Feel free to reach out. We have an open door policy that if someone wants to come on and stop by, you're welcome to email me or Margaret or Darren Ash, who's our executive director. We have folks come into our building every single day. We have employers that are wanting to learn more. And we use that as a perfect opportunity for students to practice those soft skills. So we like for more people to come on in, so that the more strangers that we have into the building, the more comfortable our students are when they're encountering strangers on a job site. They know how to act. It's nothing new. So building that confidence, we'd love for people, don't hesitate to reach out to any one of us. We would love to have you.
Yeah. And how you get a hold of us, really, we have a very easy website. It's just ROC Charlotte, ROCCharlotte.org. And all of our phone numbers are listed there.
And we're going to share that as a takeaway piece, as a follow-up to the audience members today as well. So thank you for reinforcing that message. Commissioner Altman has a question in the chat, and then I think we might have time for maybe one or two before we close out. But Commissioner Altman is asking, is there any marketing material that sets out average local construction salaries to help people understand the kinds of income and expectation for upward mobility?
That's a really good question. One of the organizations that's local that is trying to turn the tide and put that positive information out there is Lowe's, through their organization called Gen T. Their website is one that we reference to explain what those salaries are, what the opportunities are. So that's one of our main ways that we send that information out when we're meeting with students. But that is something too that we can highlight a little more, clearly on our website for folks to see.
That's great. Thank you for that. Question again, Commissioner Altman. Couple more questions. I think we're getting some really good participation here. What is the role of Goodwill Industries at the ROC?
Yes, so we are housed, our facility is the Goodwill Construction Skills Training Center. So we share the space with Goodwill. And we have the building in the morning so that we can capture those students that are in CMS. So we have it for the morning and early afternoon hours. And then in the afternoons, Goodwill has adult classes in the evenings. So they train folks in all different aspects of construction and place their adults in jobs after they graduate from their program. So they have a variety of different construction training programs that are housed out of our facility as well.
This has been incredibly impactful. It's been packed with a lot of information. Clearly, there's a lot of passion behind the work that the ROC does and the partnerships that you definitely need to have, and we want to encourage those on the call today to feel free to get more involved, more engaged. This session is being recorded, so as I alluded earlier, there will be a takeaway piece that we send off to everyone. But I just wanted to take a minute and just thank you, Anne, thank you everyone that's contributed to the conversation to help us better understand the impact of the ROC and how you are creating pathways for upward mobility for our youth and young adults, and we're really excited about the work that you're doing. So thank you so much for all your contributions this morning. Ashley Hedrick, my colleague, has put some information in the chat for more information on this series. But again, Anne and team, thank you all so much for what you've contributed with us with this morning. We really appreciate your participation. Thank you so much. Before we show our closing video, again, wanted to thank everybody that participated on the call, our audience, our speakers today. I did just want to highlight again what Ashley has put in the chat. This is a series that we are building to really just show non-traditional pathways for career opportunities. The next feature will be healthcare on September 1st. Again, in this virtual platform, we're really looking forward to some commitments and some engagement. So again, thanks to everybody. And with that, I'm going to cue Audrey up for our closing video. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for being with us today and for your commitment to providing opportunity for all. I'm Carol Lovin, Executive Vice President, Chief Integration Officer, and System Chief of Staff for Atrium Health. And I'm also very proud to be the 2021 Chair of the Charlotte Regional Business Alliance. In addition to the assessment and commitment tools mentioned earlier, we've launched a webpage to provide you with the latest information on these programs. The follow-up email will include more details on the programs and how to further engage. Now, one thing you may know is that the Charlotte Alliance's theme this year is Forward Together. We're working to create economic opportunities and prosperity for all. And to do that, we've got to think in new and different ways with respect to our hiring practices and training methods. So when I think about Atrium Health and what we're doing here, one top of mind example is our Restorative Pathways program. In partnership with City Startup Labs, a Charlotte area nonprofit, we're extending our diversity and inclusion efforts to hire 20 justice-involved individuals into select roles. We've already identified the jobs and we're training the supervisors, so we're on our way. As we continue to advance equitable economic growth, it's more than just you or me, it's going to take all of us. And when we say alliance, those first three letters do mean all of us working together. So please join us in committing to, first, non-traditional hiring options, secondly, building relationships with these programs, and thirdly, ultimately hiring from them to show that we're really serious about the for all. Thank you for joining us today and moving the Charlotte region forward together.
Thanks everyone for joining us today, and we do hope you have a great rest of your day.